We're just shooting a quick update video. I know it's been a little while. Still no axle swap video. Been meaning to get to the drag strip, but pretty busy. Yep, there's the old axle, old master cylinder, and the tail housing from the transmission that blew up while I was in Iowa. So, that's the only proof I can offer that the axle's been swapped. This is what we got coming up next for the car. I just traded a spare set of control arms for this gauge cluster and those taillights. The drive shaft came from the junkyard. It's an aluminum shaft out of an all-wheel drive Aerostar. I need to swap the yoke on it and the flange. And just like that, the time of change is upon us. Now here's a Foxbody fact. So you got the reverse light, turn signal, brake lights back there. But they also have these side lights, which mine have been burned out ever since I owned the car. Might get some bulbs, put those in there, have full working lights. Nobody knows they're in there. They're secret lights. And like magic, they're in there. But not really, I haven't tightened the bolts yet. Now that the lights are in, I'd really like to tackle this gauge cluster. Because yesterday, the fucking speedometer needle just popped off. And now when the lights are on, it's critical. Critical. I'm migraine prone. I had one today. I gotta fix that. I'm really glad I never had to swap this into my gauge cluster. I got this from the junkyard, and it wasn't a whole bust because I learned how to change the miles on one of these things. Now to do that, what you do is you press this little pin out, remove these cogs, and you can fumble the numbers, but getting them all lined up correctly is fairly difficult. So I thought the cluster that I got was a 89 140 mile per hour cluster. I thought it would swap directly into my car, but it's not. So we're gonna have a section on this video about the differences between the clusters and how to swap the speedometer head from a 90 to 93 cluster into an early model 87 to 89 cluster. So let's start off with the basic differences. It's the shape. The later cluster is curved on the bottom as a pink circuit board, and the color isn't all that's different. I've heard that these are wired differently, so if you put this into your car, you might be getting an electrical fire. I don't know if my car originally was equipped with the... Oh no, these circuit's a little fucked up there. I'm just gonna push that back in and hope for the best. That'll be fine. Now it is. So that's the connector there, and that connector. So it's a little different. This is the older model. This thing is gone in a new one. They deleted that for airbags. And also here you'll see the speedometer needle from my old one, because this one was so effed up that it was banging up against the trip reset knob for like 3 months, and it finally worked its way off. Definitely shouldn't be attempting this kind of swap if you haven't taken the cluster out before. I've done this probably like 20 times. Once you get all these dumb fucking screws out, just lift that off. I guess I should have taken the screws off of the idiot lights, but I don't really feel it. Well, cancel that. Take the screws out from this bracket I haven't taken apart one of these ones yet, just a later cluster, because that's what I found in the junkyard. They're shorter screws too, so don't mix them up when you're putting it back together. The extraction procedure is delicate, so you don't want to fuck these up, you don't want to fuck that up, and you don't want to fuck those up. But I think that all that you got to do is pull this little frame. Oh, come on, you little bastard. Casting melted to hold it on. Put that next to the other thing. Oh, it's metal? Whoa, man. That is nicer than I expected. But then the speedometer should just push out. See, this is the hard part actually. You have to, I think yeah, these ones have to come off. So the gas and the oil pressure, you know, just about to slow pry. The gas and the oil pressure, if you look and see how they constructed this, the oil pressure face overlays the speedometer plastic. So you just got to do a little twist. Oh my god. Oh, phew. That was nuts. So that's off. Not ruined. This is the basic difference that we're dealing with here as far as shapes of these speedometers go. So the old one is very square, but the new ones are got a little bit of a cutaway on it. So this is a 140 cluster from a 98 to 93 with the bezel pulled off. But I figured it'd be smart to show y'all how to disassemble one of these in case you're scared or something. You just do it. Yeah, like I said, curved plastic. This is kind of weird. The issue with the, oh god, I don't want to F those up, but, you know, working, okay, there it goes. So, this is what I've been, this is what I've been searching for here. This is what I'm trying to get into my car. Now that I pulled it, we're all good. I don't want this to be a completely useless cluster. So, I'm gonna put this baby in here. You know, some people might think that this makes it useless, but in a few years, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who will be happy to have a working 85-mile-per-hour speedometer in their car. These are the two 140s side by side. And I've done a little bit of thinking about this. Plus thought back on some of the threads I've read on Corral and stuff. And it looks like what's going to happen to make this fit in is I'm going to unbolt the speedometer from the plastic piece and swap the speedo onto the other plastic piece so it slides right in. First thing I'm going to tackle is pulling the gauge face off this one, which is not going to be super easy considering my wrenches are outside somewhere. So, use a 1/4-inch socket to unbolt that from the gauge face. And I just thought we could investigate. See that thing? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like a whole spiral of something. It's definitely not supposed to be tied into a fucking pretzel like that. This is the old gauge face. You're going to use this old gasket. Real plan is I'm going to pull this pin out and see where the needle rests. So, clocking that at that. Ooh, it's going to, yeah, I guess it's at that, right at that mark. Below 0. That's probably why they inserted that there. Okay, I hope I picked the right fork for the job here. This is like mind-bending. Okay, so off camera I did pop the needle off with a fork and it went flying across the fucking room. They use a 5.5 millimeter on the later clusters. So you look here, that is how a speedometer is supposed to look like. There's supposed to be a little, see how close we can get here before we lose out. Spiral of copper in there. Somehow mine got all tangled up. Well, when you got it apart, it's probably a good time to wipe the dust off, since you probably fingerprinted the shit out of it while you're messing with it. Side-by-side shot of the two clusters. You can see that's what good speedo looks like. And this is what a fucking ruined one looks like. Well, let's refer to it as mileage matching, because that's what we're doing. The mileage matching will be performed off the video, most likely. But the way you do that is you pound this pin out. So what you want to do is beat the shit out of this side of the pin with the hammer, and then you can just yank it out once it breaks loose. Just beat the shit out of it. Now comes the mileage matching section. It shouldn't be too difficult, so I'm going to try and get this close. God damn it, this is fucking hard. This is like the worst part. TBH Famalama Ding Dong. Seven, 8. This is going to take some digging around. Well, you're going to want to be an accurate hammersmith for this job. Just kind of hold it and then beat the shit out of it. After hammering the shit out of that pin at 12:14 in the morning, I can put this back on and have a pretty closely matched mileage here. It's pretty hard. It's pretty much back together now. You saw how I took it apart. You don't really need to see me doing the opposite of that.